What's going on, Sip Sip? As I'm driving home, I'm making this video, and I heard yesterday on the radio as I was driving home that there's a case of kids, offspring, children fighting and abusing their parents. Yeah, it's the goofy guy with glasses. This is Sip Smoking Shit. Hey, and you heard me right. I heard that there's a group of people who suffer in silence, or what they called it on the radio station. They suffer in silence parents that have children that are between, and they said the most, I think one of the things that they said is that the most, about 25 to 30% of the domestic calls to a home are related to children jumping on their parents. Yeah, that's what I said, children. There was a stat that they gave out on the radio that says domestic calls, when they go to a home, when they go to a dwelling place, a residence, apartment, house, whatever, and this they categorize that as a domestic call. They said like 30% of the domestic calls or calls is not between a husband and wife, or, you understand, this is between a child and a parent. So the radio thing was talking about, the radio show on yesterday was talking about the parents that suffer in silence because they don't want to tell anybody, you know, or bring it up that their child is beating on them or whooping them or just doing things to them that's not of the norm. You understand what I'm saying? Like they had an incident yesterday where Matt had to play a clip where this mom had got frustrated with her son, teenage son, and made him get out of the car. And so he was tripping, like, Mom, you tripping, boo-boo. She was like, I'm tired of your disrespect. You do this, you do that, you do that. He was just being disrespectful, and she had got fed up and wanted to put him out the car. And so he got out of the car. Then when he got out of the car, he threw his cell phone and broke her glass in her car. So one of the things that they talked about is like, I wish a little joker would. You understand? But they were talking about there are a number of parents, whether it be single parents, single, married couples, you know, single mom, single dad, married couples, the children are abusing the parents and jumping on them, fighting them, throwing things at them, talking crazy to them. And then as a parent, you're thinking to yourself, and then why they say they suffer in silence is because as a parent, how do I go and tell my buddy, man, my son jumped on me and gave me a black eye? You know, how do you feel as a parent telling somebody that? Or my daughter slapped the shit out of me. How do you go and tell your girlfriend that? Or, you know, as a parent. And why do we accept this treatment from our kids is my question. You understand? It's natural for boys to stand up to their dads, you know, and buck them until they get, you know, that grown man strength put on them. But I don't get it, because I never, only time I bucked my dad one time after a fire at his place, and me and my buddy Sterry, rest in peace, Sterry LeMacius Johnson. So we were moving some stuff out of the place and going up and down the stairs, and my dad, you know, chill, cool dude. I was trying to do it in a fast pace because that was the time I was at the, you know, wow, I was young, you know, going to college, just, so I was young, and I told my dad, we're gonna do this is, my dad had already given us directions, me and Sterry lived with us at the time, and we were all helping, and I was like, we're gonna do this, and I remember we got to the top of the stairs, and my dad had turned around and grabbed my shirt and yanked me close to him, and was like, who you think you talking to? What? And I was like, you understand what I'm saying? And that was the last time I bucked my dad. So I thought about it, but after that I was like, hell no, I'm not doing this. So I don't get it, how kids can buck. You understand? Me and my son got into it one time, and we got into it, and it got broken up, but I was in my head saying to myself, damn, that little joker strong. And at the time, my son was squatting 500 pounds, you know, he was squatting and doing all this kind of stuff, doing 30, 40 pull-ups. So he was kind of, you understand what I'm saying? I'm glad they broke it up, because in my mind, you know, your ego as a parent, like, if this joker get the best of me, I'm gonna have to hurt him. And no man wants to mangle his son or put something on him to where he gonna be messed up for life. And you definitely don't want to break his spirit. So it's a gray area, but for the life of me, I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. And so my thing is to my parents, subscribers, if you have a child, has your kid ever jumped on you, slapped you, punched you, hit you, threw stuff at you? You know, and if they did, what did you do? What did you do in return? What did you do to them to let them know, hey, this not cool. That's not acceptable. We're not gonna do that, because I'm gonna hurt you. Even my mom, I knew I could take my mom, but my mom used to talk so much nonsense. You know, I brought you in, my mama would always tell me, I brought you into this world, and guess what? I'll take your ass out. And so I was just, you know, and I think I get my temper from my mom, so I was always scared to press that button, because I ain't know what that woman would do. Because I done got whippings. When I tell you, I got whippings as a child, beatings sometimes, because I was just doing crazy stuff, you understand? So I would not buck that woman. So I don't know, is this attributed to, big word, is this attributed to these soft parents wanting to be friends with their children, you know, and not whooping them? You know what the Bible say, you spare the rod, you spoil the child. So what is this? I want to know, have you been the victim of this? Are you suffering in silence? This is a safe space. Let us know. Let us know. I want to hear. I want to know, what was your case? Have your child ever bucked you? Have you ever tried to get in your daughter's butt for talking back, women? Have you ever had, as a single mother or a mother, have to get in your son's behind them bucking you? I'm just curious. You understand what I'm saying? This is Sip, Soak, and Share, where we talk openly. We talk honestly, and we talk freely, but we also gonna keep it a buck. We're gonna keep it 100. You know, we're gonna share. We're gonna share. Because you may help somebody else. I can tell you right now, take that belt off and get the psh, psh, psh. Remember they used to do the belts like that? They pop the belts, fold it in half, and then pop it. Or slap it on their hand and get you scared, you be trembling. Most of the time, the pre-whooping was worse than the whipping. But I think these kids just need some little spanking on the bottom. Or as we tell the kids and the babies now, pow, 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 with that yardstick, that little ruler. So, hey, I just want to know what y'all think, what y'all feel, how y'all feeling. Have you experienced this? Do you know somebody that experienced that? Yeah, let me know. Sip, sip.